So Gallup has a new poll out today that really lit a fire under my ass and made me want to work harder. It's about who Americans would vote for. So they say the following, quote, between now and the 2016 political conventions, there will be discussions about the qualifications of presidential candidates, their education, age, religion, race, and so on. If your party nominated a generally well-qualified person for president who happened to be blank, would you vote for that person? So, would you vote for X, this group of person? Let me give you the different options here. There's Catholic, a woman, black, Hispanic, Jewish, Mormon, gay or lesbian, evangelical Christian, Muslim, atheist, socialist. Okay. So, now let me go ahead and show you the chart, and you can see who finished at the bottom. Yeah, that would be the most depressing thing I've seen today. At the very bottom, you have the last group, the last kind of person that people in America say they would vote for, a socialist. Only 47% say yes, they would, 50% say no, they wouldn't. Then you have right above that, yet again, another knife in my heart, and I would, venture to say in our hearts, an atheist. 58% say they would vote, so still a majority that said they would, but 40% said say they would not. Remember, this is just reject out of hand. Like, oh, you're an atheist? Done. Not even considering it. So you could theoretically agree with somebody on everything substantively in terms of policy, but they would say, no, I am simply rejecting you because you do not believe in God. Which leads to a point that we've made before, how in America, a lot of people conflate atheism with immorality. When they hear somebody say, I am an atheist, they hear somebody say, I don't believe in right and wrong. Of course, that is not true, and that's ridiculous. In fact, most atheists I know have a finer-tuned sense of morality than others, but nonetheless, people believe it because they're silly, and they don't read, and they don't research, and they just say, yeah, okay, whatever, me no like the atheist, me no atheist. Okay, asshole, well then, embrace your bigotry. What do you want me to say? And then, of course, at the bottom as well, Muslim, third from the bottom, 60% said they would vote for them, 38% said no, they'd reject out of hand. Evangelical Christian is just above them at 73% say yes, they would vote, so 13 percentage points more than Muslim, but 25% say no, they would not. Then you have gay or lesbian, is actually above evangelical Christian, which is fascinating. 74% said they would, so the gay rights movement is, really going strong, and credit to them. They're doing the right thing, and we're finally winning some legal battles on that front, and also you're changing minds, because 74% say they would vote for them, only 24% would reject out of hand. Mormon, 81% say they would vote for them, 18% say no. Jewish, 91% say they would vote for them. Only 7% say no, they wouldn't. Hispanic, 91% yes, 8% no. Black, 92% yes. That one is actually pretty surprising. Only 7% of Americans say they would reject out-of-hand black people. But I guess there's two ways to look at that. The other way to look at that is, really, 7% of Americans say, under no circumstances would I vote for an N-word. I could have said it, but I was playing it safe. A woman, 92% say yes, they would vote for a woman, 8% say no, and a Catholic's leading the fucking way, 93% say they would vote for one, 6% said they wouldn't. Now, what's funny about this is, a lot of this is just based off of, who people happen to know, but also, who was elected in the past. So, for example, JFK, Catholic. He already, burst that bubble, so now people are like, yeah, I don't see the problem. Catholic it's whatever. People used to think when a Catholic was running for office, we can't vote for this person because they're going to take orders from the Pope. That's what they thought. They thought Catholic means Roman Catholic means you're going to listen to the Pope nonstop. So Catholics, when you go far enough back in American history, Catholics were not viewed as good Christians. Now, Catholics are Christians, but they were viewed not the same as Protestants. They're viewed as like a lesser kind of Christian, one that you can't trust. But that's obviously changed completely as time has gone by. Just like, by the way, back in the day, Irish people weren't viewed as white in America. You might be like, what the fuck? That's ridiculous. Irish people are the whitest people ever. But they were viewed as, oh, they're foreigners. They're immigrants. They're not like the WASPs, the good white people in the South who fly the Confederate flag and hate black people. So it's weird. America, when it comes to racial history and religious history and different groups, were obviously very strange. But at the bottom, man, atheists and socialists. So apparently our show has had zero impact. Now, understand, don't be totally crushed by this, because here's the reality. The American people don't know labels. They just don't know labels. Now, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. It's a simple matter of doing the math. So, for example, when you ask the American people, hey, how do you identify politically? According to some polls, they say center-right. So I'm moderately conservative. But then when you get into specifics and you pull them on the issues, they're flaming progressives. Flaming progressives. They're all like, okay, yes, raise the minimum wage, never ever under any circumstance cut Social Security or cut education spending or cut Medicare or cut Medicaid, raise taxes on the rich, get us out of the wars, do immigration reform, address climate change, go through the issues. The American people are all Bernie Sanders, basically. So don't be too upset by this, because they say I'd never vote for a socialist, as they basically espouse some socialist beliefs. And also, socialist is a very broad term that's not rigidly defined, so people don't have a good sense of it. I mean, sometimes people have that reactionary feeling of like, socialist, I'm thinking of communist, I'm thinking of Soviet Russia, I don't like Soviet Russia, they were our enemy, no, I would never vote for a socialist. That's what people think of. Or they think of like, Hugo Chavez, evil. Or they think of Cuba, Fidel Castro, terrible. So they're not really making logical connections here. They don't know the nuances and the intricacies of the political spectrum. And even with atheists, if you were to poll people in 1973 in America, would you ever vote for a black president? They'd be like, fuck that. No way. But given enough time, when the right one came along, or as Bill Maher calls him, the Jackie Robinson of American politics, white Americans were like, I like him. I like him. Same thing with an atheist. I mean, obviously, people aren't going to go out of their way to vote for Penn Jillette, but would they vote for the right atheist who comes along and says the right things and strikes the right chord and somehow walks that tightrope where he makes people go, oh, he may be that, but I like him? Yeah, it's possible. It's not possible until it is possible, basically. Now, the mindset still needs to be changed, and people still need to get away from their reactionary bigotry. But understand, it's not as bad as this poll indicates.